Welcome, thank you for joining us on the Rebel Run Sports Show. A little different look this week. We kicked John out of here for a little while, thank goodness. But if he would have been out here, he would have been telling you all the things that he used to do on the football field.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm glad to be joined today, Mount Vernon head coach Monty Fritz. Monty, how you doing?
Pretty good. Glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
Football's getting ready to roll.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get started. This fall, we're going to be doing a little something, a weekly coaches show with Coach Fritz here. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to get it going. Got some of the guys over here hanging out while we're shooting this. Off the top, I always want to say support public schools. Monty, this is your first full off season.
Right.
You came in last year, turned things around. You've done a tremendous job. What's it been like having your first full off season in there?
Well, I think we're obviously much more confident going into week one. Like, we know what we have. Like, I know the type of players that we have. I know what we can expect when the lights come on. Last year at this time, we played W&L week one. Like, we could have won by 50 or lost by 50, and it wouldn't surprise me. I think this week we have a good idea of like what to expect and how to prepare. And the other thing, our kids are a lot bigger. Last year we were size-wise pretty small, but we lived in the weight room all off season, so we're a lot bigger, a lot stronger. So I think we can hold up to some of the bigger teams in our conference and in our region.
Well, you just teed me up right there. You're talking about the size and everything. So yesterday I got a chance to go out to there's a game that Woodbridge holds every year right before the season starts, kind of a benefit game. I got a chance to go out there, talk to Coach Gary Worthman for a little while. Gary Worthman Jr. is on the staff too. Shout out to him. We talked for a bit. Get out there. Like, Woodbridge didn't have a great year last year. But talking to the coaches, they said, hey, look, on the first play of the first game last year, our quarterback threw a 91-yard touchdown and got hurt on that play. Right. And was down for the rest of the year. So they're coming back this year. They've got him back. They've got some good running backs, and they have some size that is ridiculous. I mean, they got a couple of guys. I don't even want to know their names yet, but 66, 44, 51 are enormous. They're enormous. So I expect big things from them this year. They expect big things from themselves coming back, like I said, with their quarterback. They got a bunch of guys with offers on that team all over the place. I think sometimes the offers give them unfair expectations from people around the area, but it's going to be interesting because with the realignment and everything, everybody's got to play everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. They got some guys. They got some big dudes.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them at camp. They definitely got a lot of talent on that team. And it's definitely going to be interesting now. I think we were talking about before the show. It's like the northern teams have to kind of go down there and play some of those teams now. So it's going to be interesting to see, because those aren't teams I've really scouted yet. Right. But now we're going to have to, because, our playoff region, Mount Vernon's playoff region, is that Woodbridge region. So, like, our first round matchups could be against Woodbridge or Hilton or one of those teams. So, it's going to be interesting to see how we mesh together.
Freedom's one to watch out for out there too. Yeah,
we saw them in 7-on-7. They have a lot of talent. Yeah,
definitely. Going back for you, what was the biggest challenge for you looking back on it? Now you're a year in. What was the biggest challenge for you coming in?
I don't know if there's one big challenge that we had. I think it's just been one constant thing after the other. But I think obviously getting the kids out was a big thing, right? You inherit a program that has about 40 kids on it. We're at like 123 right now. Wow. Like, it's a big thing. I keep hearing from people how we're like one of the few football teams in the area that's growing. Like, our team keeps growing. So I think that was obviously a big thing. And I think just getting some finances in the program. When we got here, we didn't have white jerseys. That's something we didn't talk about. Like, that's illegal. Like, every team's supposed to have a white jersey. So we had to file a waiver with the state and play with these old gray uniforms last year until we could raise some money. So now we have a good place financially, so like the kids have gear and we look like a high school football program now. I feel much better about that. And I think when you look good, you obviously play good, and I think that's something that is going to build some more confidence with our kids.
Okay. Well, what's different for you as a coach and personally, what's different for you entering the season with that full year under your belt?
Well, I think the other thing is we got to work on our staff for a year. So, I think one of the big problems that I had last year was, for most of the year we were 6-7 coaches with 100 kids. It's really tough. Right now we're at 17 coaches, and we've been able to kind of upgrade in a lot of areas that I'm very happy about. So I think that helps our program tremendously, because now instead of kids getting a 20-to-1 ratio,
right,
you know, they're at a 5 or 6-to-1 ratio, which is really good for us. Kids get more work. Individuals every day is a lot more growth in that period, where last year we were doing a lot of team activities. So offensively, I was really running most of the offense every single day. Now we have 5 or 6 offensive coaches that know what the system is, know what we're doing, and we can split practice up and get a lot of individual growth.
Okay. Well, how do you do that as far as the staff goes? How much how much input do you have from the DSA, or how's that worked out as far as you going out and getting staff?
So obviously, there's a process to go be badged in Fairfax County, and that takes a little bit of time. We haven't had many issues with that. I think the issue we had, last year when I got hired, we posted things on, the Fairfax website and some other coaching websites, and I maybe got like 2 or 3 resumes, right? Like nobody really wanted to coach here, to where now this off season we posted it and I probably got 15 to 25 resumes, right? So I think, obviously success breeds success. So like we were successful last year, so more people want to come and be successful with us and figure out why we were successful. And, that's the reason why teams like Westfield continue to be good, right? When you're good, other good people want to be around you, and it just helps you be successful. So I think that's been a big thing. We've been able to get some coaches from some other schools that have wanted to come over here and see what we're doing, and it's been a big benefit for us.
Awesome. Well, what did you want your team to improve on in the offseason?
I want us to get stronger. That was number one. We went to, we're very lucky. We got to go to the first round of the playoffs last year. It's the first time Mount Vernon's ever been to the 6A state playoffs. We got to do that in year one, and we got to go meet up with Centerville. And, we knew pretty early on when we watched the film that we were going to have some issues. One, Darian was hurt, so offensively we were a little restricted on what we could do. And then number 2, they're just big, mean, and nasty.
Yeah.
And we did a max out day on my first day last year before the season, and we didn't have one kid who could squat 300 pounds. We maxed before camp this year. We had 37 kids squat over 300 pounds. So, we really made squats a big priority just to get us bigger and stronger, because, if we get deep in the playoffs, we're going to have to play some of those power teams like Robinson or Centerville or Westfield. So we've got to be able to hold up and give our offensive quarterback a chance to be protected, and to give our defense a chance to get off the field.
On the flip side of that, what did you want your staff and yourself to improve on as coaches?
Just to understand each other. We kind of got thrown in the fire, right? Like, I don't think my offensive system's too crazy, like complicated, but, the coaches were kind of learning it at the same time the players were last year. So it's really hard to teach something if you're learning it at the same time. Now we're to the point where our coaches understand what we want and what we need, and they're able to correct things much quicker in practice. So I think, we met a lot as a staff, and doled out a lot more responsibilities on the staff to get them to kind of carry more weight, so it wasn't just me or our defensive coordinator doing everything, and I think that's obviously made us a lot stronger.
Okay. And how involved do you get with the defense? I mean, you're coming from an offensive coordinator spot.
I usually just yell at them when something goes wrong. No, I think for the most part, Coach Louisville, who was coaching at Westfield when he came over, he won a state championship with Westfield, and then we got him to come over here and be the defensive coordinator. He's been great, and I believe in the system that he runs. I think it's the best for our kids and for our school. I'm there to help and support, and if I see something on film, I'll shoot it to him, but it's his defense. I want him to run his defense. More of the conversation we have are personnel decisions, because we try to have 22 starters, but obviously when you have a few dynamic kids like Jason Lewis, who you're going to talk to, and Darian Newton, right? We want them to play both ways, but we're going to try to limit their reps so that they're as efficient as possible. So most of our conversations revolve around either the game plan or personnel. Game day, it's just stop blitzing or keep blitzing, something like that. But for the most part, I try to leave them alone. So I don't want people messing with me when I call plays. So I try not to mess with everybody else when they're doing the same thing.
Well, and he's had a little bit of success.
Yeah, a little bit. He's been successful. So, and I think we were pretty successful last year. I mean, when we got beat up, some teams were able to really move the football on us. But, I think we've helped fix that with the weight room. We'll be a little less injury prone. So that should help us.
How different is coaching at a private school versus coming to a public school?
you know, Friendship's its own thing, right? Like, you know, it's not really a private school, it's a charter school, but it's very similar in some aspects.
Right.
You know, I think there's a big difference between coaching in the District of Columbia and coaching in Fairfax County.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some similarities between Mount Vernon and Friendship that I think really helped me in the transition to be a head coach. But I think, you know, the best thing was usually at schools like Friendship or Gonzaga or St. You know, schools like that, you're around other awesome coaches. And so, like, I learned a lot just being around them all the time. And a lot of the stuff that we were successful with, you know, a lot of people give me credit for, it was just stuff I stole from other coaches, right? Like, I was around them and I saw how they did it. So, like, people congratulate me when they should be congratulating Coach Hunter or Coach Raheem. Like, they're the guys who kind of taught me all of this.
Talking about your players? Mm-hmm. Just got to sit down with a few of them. Mm-hmm. Take a look. All right, back here with Jason Lewis, Damian Burke. How you guys doing?
I'm pretty good.
You know I'm gonna clown you about the hat throughout this.
Yes, sir. I represent.
All right. You ready to get back this year? Did that success make you hungry for this year coming up?
Yeah, of course. I always want to do better for the team, for people I play with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, last year was my first year playing, so I'm looking forward to this year getting better.
So was it the coaching of Coach Fritz, or was it you joining the team? Is that why the success?
I'm gonna say Coach Fritz.
What was your off season like? What did you want to work on as a player?
Mostly, it had to be my size because I'm small, like short, and people are gonna sleep on me. So, I mean, I like it because I always want to prove people wrong, but it's something that I still need to show visually that I can't be taken advantage of.
There you go. Hey, it's good for short people. I'm one of them too. We're good.
For me, getting bigger, getting faster, and one thing I really do need to work on my flexibility. Yeah, and just not having having the mindset. Because last year I don't think I had the mindset.
Yeah. Speaking of the mindset, how different is the mindset from football to basketball?
I think it's the same.
Yeah.
I think it has to do, like, you have to have that killer instinct, and like you just have to want to play. You can't go out there not wanting to play.
Okay. How much fun? You were on the team before, right?
Yes.
How much fun was last season compared to the year before?
It was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, because it seemed like we have so much more chemistry now. We're not focused on like putting the ball and just trying to score. We have a deeper meaning in that. So we try and score efficiently. We don't just try and score because we want to. We have a reason. We have a drive for everything we do.
Okay. Who's the fastest guy on the team?
I would say me.
I am. Definitely me.
Like, I'm not one of the fastest people. I can say that.
Yeah.
I'll race D-Newt for that spot.
All right. How much trash does Coach Fritz talk?
A lot.
That was so quick. That was so quick.
Well, to defense, you can times that by 2 because, you know, we're competitive in practice, so we always go back and forth. But at the end of the day, we're still a team. We still bond, you know. But in practice, it's just a battle. So
yeah, one little slip up, he's on you for the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, that's all it takes. A lot of football coaches are kind of like dictators in a lot of sense. You know, they kind of dictate everything that goes on. Is Coach Fritz like that, or does he give you a chance to be you within his system?
He lets us be ourselves, or more than that, like in his circle. He kind of like let us off his leash more. He gives us more leisure to like make mistakes, and because he's more worried about how he come back from that. He's not worried about, oh, he messed up. He's worried about, all right, how will he react after he messed up? Like, will he get back into it? And that's pretty much how he focuses on.
yeah, I think he lets us like have our own spot in his system. Like, he makes sure like his system fits how we want to play. Mm-hmm. And like I think that's why he's a good coach.
Okay. You got Edison this coming week, first game. You guys ready for it?
Of course.
Of course, yes.
Like,
looking forward to it.
Team's gonna really surprise people.
Yeah.
Even against the bigger schools that we have to play, even though we're taking this one game at a time, I feel like we're still gonna surprise everybody out there.
All right. Ready to get it started?
Yes, sir.
All right. Check them out this year. Jason Lewis, Damian Burke. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back here. Tim Heltzel, Darian Newton. How you guys doing today?
We're fine. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. What's it like playing for Coach Fritz?
I mean,
Why you look at him?
I was waiting for him to
I mean, for me, since I'm a quarterback and everything, he's hard on me. Every practice, it's something else. But I mean, I appreciate it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that he cares about me and like he wants me to be successful. So that's why I don't really complain about it. But I mean, he's fine. Like he's a great coach. He just wants the best for everyone. To be honest, like
Yeah,
I mean,
Coach,
yeah, that's all you can ask for in a coach.
Coach Fritz, he wants you, like, he has that motor to make you be the best you can be. Like, he's not gonna just let you slack off, and he cares about all of us, so he wants all of us to do better, and he's always gonna push everyone, every play.
Okay. Coming into this year, as a quarterback, what did you do in the offseason to try to improve?
For me, I have a quarterback coach and Coach Henderson. He's the head coach over at Hayfield. He was working with me, and he's a great guy. Knows what he's talking about. His son, he's at Maryland now.
Yeah.
And it's obvious that he knows what he's doing. And also, I joined a 7-on-7 team, a passing league, so that was fun. I met some guys there from all over, a lot of Hayfield guys, so that game's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think the passing league really got me into the zone where I'm a lot more confident with my throws now. I feel like I can put like my throws like where I want them, like whenever I want. So I'm excited to showcase that this season.
You know what? I bet you Coach Fritz is excited for you to show that this season too. Darian, a lot of people keyed on you last year after the first couple games as a running back, but then out of the backfield you started killing people and catching the ball. What did you want to improve on in the offseason?
Well, basically, this offseason for me has been recovery. I
Yeah.
had a meniscus tear at the Lake Rider game. So after I got cleared, my offseason was, I wanted to get better with footwork, and I wanted to get stronger. So when I was on crutches, my arms were getting better, they were getting stronger. Just mainly footwork and just getting back to normal, getting my confidence back in my knee.
So when you guys talk to players that are on other teams in the area, were they surprised by the success last year? Did they ever say anything to you about it?
Yeah, I know some of my friends were surprised because they always think, oh, Mount Vernon, bad culture, bad team, that we're not a program or a team. That's what most people would say there. But so a lot of people were surprised, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised, and a lot of people are excited to play us this year for sure.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the kids were playing last year didn't expect what like we had or what we did to them, and honestly, I think this year, I mean, I'm excited for a lot of the games we're playing because I know so many people now. So and I know they're excited too. So I mean, it's gonna be a good game, like with whoever we play.
Yeah. Well, who's your rival?
Ooh,
Is that rival?
Yeah.
West Potomac.
Westville, yeah,
All right.
It's the biggest rival.
of course. That's been our Route 1 rival for forever.
Battle of the Highway.
So that game is always circled on the calendar?
It's always the last game of the season,
Oh, yeah.
every year. It's just the culture.
Yeah.
You got the whole season to prepare for it, then and get ready for it?
Oh yeah.
What are some other games throughout the year that you're looking forward to?
I mean, we just want to take one game at a time. Like, we just want to take one game at a time.
Now, I got the quarterback sitting here.
Yeah.
You got to give me the quarterback answer. I see. All right.
I mean, I'll go opposite of him. I'm looking forward to Hayfield. For sure. That's the game I'm most excited about because I mean, like I know like a ton of players over there.
Yeah.
I know Brian well. I know Coach Henderson well. We also have a couple of coaches who coached here over there. Also, Coach Green and Coach Nana. So I'm just excited to play them.
Yeah.
Showcase what we have because I feel like that's our first like true test. So I'm excited for it.
Okay. What should teams plan you guys be ready for this year? What's the identity of Mount Vernon coming in this year?
I mean, we're just like we can do everything now. I feel like last year, I mean, we got lucky with Mikkel, because I mean he was just a huge back.
Right.
But now we have our blocking schemes down. Our linemen are a lot stronger this year, so I feel like we can push people off the ball. So I feel like now we have both a running game and a passing game. So I'm excited for that.
Other teams, other teams looked at our film and they were like, they're going to pass the ball only. And so they'll take guys out the box and try to cover our receivers.
Right.
This year should be better. It should be like a more like two-sided game, two-way game instead of just running the ball. Instead of just passing the ball, we're going to run the ball.
Okay. All right, so the last thing I got for you, I'm not even going to ask who's the biggest trash talker because by Damien's answer, I'm going to guess that it's Coach Fritz.
For sure.
What's the locker room like before the game? Are you guys a talkative group? Or are you guys kind of quiet before the game? What's the locker room like?
The locker room, so it can be both ways.
Yeah.
Before the game, there could be a game where like we're all quiet, lights are off, we're listening to music, we're just getting like meditated basically. Another day we could be talkative and still like it's not like we're not serious, but we're talkative because we're just that we have a good bond with each other. So we'll be talkative and we'll still be ready to play. We'll just be chill.
Yeah, definitely. These past two scrimmages, the locker room's been, I mean, at times it's been loud. At times you just see people just sitting like by themselves. So, I mean, it's the best of both worlds, to be honest. So, I mean, that's about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Friday night, they get rolling.
Just there.
Darian Newton, Tim Heltzel. Guys, thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Thanks, guys. Great sitting down with them. You got some talent on your hands?
Yeah, we do. I think it's grown as I've been here, but we definitely have some talent, and hopefully we do a good job putting them in the right spot.
So, how supportive has the community and the alumni been for you?
Awesome. I think it's been, that was a part I was really concerned about because people told me you had like 10 people coming to games, and there wasn't a lot of like support from businesses in the area, but I think the success obviously carried over. Our first scrimmage, we scrimmaged McLean a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was easily 1,500 people here for the scrimmage.
Really?
Yeah, whole home stands were packed. It's probably 2 rows deep on the fence behind us. I think, Mount Vernon has a tradition of being successful. We have a state championship. It's something a lot of teams in the area can't say. And I know it's been a few years, since they've really had success, but like the community wants it to be successful. There's so many alumni schools, been around since I think 1939.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of people that went there. I mean, I just bought a new house and got Verizon Fios, and hopefully they'll sponsor our show.
Yeah.
But the guy who came and installed the Fios was a Mount Vernon grad. So
That's awesome.
I just find those people everywhere. They're super supportive and super excited about like the direction our program's going in.
Good. If you weren't a coach, what would you be doing?
I would live on a beach, like on the middle of nowhere. No, I don't know. If I wasn't a coach, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a coach. Like I've wanted to be a coach since I was in like middle school. Right? I didn't really grow up dreaming of playing the NFL. I think I knew early on I wasn't, Reggie White good at anything. But I've always wanted to be a coach. If I wasn't a coach, I'd want to do something. I like teaching. That's really what I do at Mount Vernon. I'm a teacher and then I coach on the side. So I really enjoy being around like high school age kids, and hopefully I'm a positive influence on them so that they're making correct decisions, because I know the people in my life when I was in high school, I had a lot of teachers that really directed me in the right path. So
what's the biggest misconception that the outside people have about a coach or a coach's life or whatever?
I think that's just like super easy, right? Like I talk to people all the time. Like they think, I think teachers and coaches that, you never work in the summer and you get spring break off and you get 2 weeks off for Christmas. And so like your life is just this super easy life. And, most of my teaching life has been full of like 12 to 16 hour days. And that's not even involving like the coaching aspect of it, right? Like to be a really good teacher, you have to spend a lot of time. It's not just like show up and do what you're supposed to do. Like teaching's like really tough if you want to be really good at it, because I think, obviously I think goal number one of every teacher or every coach is to develop relationships with the kids. And like you can't do that if you just show up when the bell rings and leave when the bell rings. So I think people always think like teaching's this like gravy job, and maybe it is for some people, but Like it's not like there's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made. Like
Absolutely.
right now, like I'm not with my family. Like I'm with the football players, and on Friday nights, every Friday night for 5 months, like I don't see my family. Like I'm with them, so they're kind of like my family, and hopefully they feel the same way. But there's a lot of sacrifices I think a coach has to make. That and I think the other aspect is because Power 5 coaches make so much money now.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think everybody thinks coaching is this like glory job, and like I love it. Like I don't want to do anything else, but it's not. Right. It's 10 months of grind for one day of awesomeness, and that's. I think it would be tough for a lot of other people to do.
And you ain't getting Nick Saban money.
No. Nobody is.
No. So I mean, everybody knows about all the stuff going on, Charlottesville last week and all the stuff going on. How do you approach that, or do you approach that with your team?
It's a very different situation here than maybe I think a lot of schools are. We're a very diverse school, and we're almost like a 30-30-30 school because of our population is so diverse. I don't ever worry about students from Mount Vernon going out and not being able to have relationships with people that are different than them. You look at our football team picture, it's, what America should be about, which is like a true melting pot. Like we have people from all different cultures and ethnicities all on the same team. We never have issues with it. We did some stuff last year with some of the issues with like police officers and minorities, and so we brought some police officers in and some military police in to come talk to the kids to try to bridge the gap. So I think you've really failed as a coach if like the only thing you ever talk about with your players is football. Like I think I heard Coach Aziz on last week's episode talk about it. Like I do think football is one of the greatest transitions into real life because you're constantly faced with obstacles, and like I think one of the greatest things about football is it teaches you to get up when you fail, because more times than not, like you're having issues. So, we haven't really brought up the Charlottesville thing. I mean, I've had a few side conversations with some players about some stuff, but as in like a whole team thing, we haven't talked about it that much because, we're not some of the schools, I think, to the west of us or to the east of us. Like we're a little bit different.
Right. Good. Well, outside, when you get home or when you have some time off, what do you do? How do you unwind?
How do I unwind? I'm a huge University of Tennessee fan.
Okay.
And so my wife and I are both from Knoxville, so usually on the weekends it revolves around watching them in either football or basketball or whatever. But to be honest, like I just like to just be away from everything and turn everything off and just hang out with my family. Right? During the week, especially during football season, it's really hard to find time with them. So like on the weekends, we'll just go to the mall and walk around, or we'll sit downstairs and just talk or whatever. Like that for me is kind of what I like. I have 120 kids that are constantly texting me, emailing me, trying to get something, and that's a good thing. But so on the weekends, I kind of just chill.
What's the last movie Coach Fritz has seen in the movie theater?
Well, I have a 1-year-old, so that ruined. I used to love going to the movies all the time. My wife and I went. My parents came up and watched Gavin. We went and saw Wonder Woman. I think was the last movie I saw in theaters. That was a good movie, and we liked it. But we used to go like every weekend. Having a kid kind of.
It does that.
Yeah, he doesn't like to sit in the movie theater like I do.
No, believe me, I understand that. What'd you have for breakfast this morning? I don't even know. I had a shot of apple cider vinegar. People keep telling me to try this thing. I tried it and it's terrible. But what'd you have for breakfast?
I had cinnamon frosted flakes. Like I love cereal. That's probably like the worst thing to eat, right? But like my wife hates me about it. But like for dinner, she'd be like, "What do you have for dinner?" I'll just have a bowl of cereal. Like I just love cereal. But so I had cinnamon frosted flakes.
Cinnamon frosted flakes.
Yeah, they're new. I always fall for that new stuff. It's not that good.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I like Frosted Flakes. You know what? I like Golden Grams. People sleep on Golden Grams.
Yeah.
I like Golden Grams.
Yeah. I'm just a big regular Frosted Flake guy.
Really?
I try to get too fancy this week at the grocery store.
My wife is like that too. There's always Frosted Flakes in the house.
Yeah.
Somehow I always get the end of the bag. I don't know. Well, thank you for having us today. can't wait to get out here and see you guys. Season kicks off next week.
Yeah, we kick off this Friday against Edison. So we play Edison week 1 at Edison. So we're pretty excited about getting the season started. And
Bet you are.
tired of hitting each other. You know, our second scrimmage got canceled. So
Yeah.
a lot of built up stuff.
Yeah. All right, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see every week. We'll have Coach Fritz's own show.
Yep.
Tune in. Next week we got a full slate of games. We'll get rolling. John will be back, unfortunately. But we'll get rolling. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Rebel Run Sports!